Solo Leveling Season 1, Episode 8. The soft, rhythmic beeping of the hospital monitor was the only sound in the quiet room. Sung Jinwoo stood beside the bed, his eyes fixed on the pale, unmoving figure of his mother, Park Kyung-hae. Her chest rose and fell faintly, each breath like a fragile thread keeping her tethered to life. Eternal sleep disease had stolen her voice, her warmth, her presence, but not his memories of her smile. He reached out, brushing a loose strand of hair from her forehead. "One day, I'll wake you up, Mom." His voice stayed in his heart, unspoken, because saying it out loud felt like it would break him. But the determination was there, carved deep into his bones. He had a plan. Before he could attempt the demon castle and claim the ingredients for the elixir of life, he needed strength, real strength. And he would get it. The next morning, the air inside Cafe Penne was filled with the faint scent of roasted coffee beans and quiet chatter. Jinwoo sat across from Yoo Jin-ho, the young man's excitement practically spilling over. "You'll join me?" Jinho's voice trembled with disbelief, his wide eyes blinking rapidly. Jinwoo gave a small nod. "Yes, but only if it's just the two of us inside the gates." Jinho's brow furrowed. "But gates require at least 8 hunters." "Then hire the rest," Jinwoo replied calmly, leaning back in his chair. "Just like Hwang Dong-suk used to do, we bring them to meet the quota, but they don't do the fighting." Jinho's jaw slowly dropped before breaking into a grin. That could work. If we clear all those dungeons with no injuries, my father will have no choice but to acknowledge me." Jinwoo didn't respond. He simply sipped his drink, his thoughts far ahead, counting the days, the raids, and the levels he needed to climb. Elsewhere, on a sunlit track field, Cha Hae-in's footsteps were quick and light as she completed another lap. Her senses, sharper than most, caught a flicker of someone watching her. She stopped, catching her breath, her gaze scanning the stands. A man stepped forward with a practiced smile. "Yoo Byung-gil, Yoojin Construction." He handed her a business card, his tone polite yet filled with calculated charm. They spoke briefly about Yoojin's plan to form their own guild, about her potential role as guild master. She listened, nodded once, and walked away without promising anything. Her instincts told her such offers came with invisible chains. In a dark sedan moving steadily down the road, Yoo Jin-ho sat tense beside his father, Yoo Myung-han. "Dungeons have reshaped everything." His father's deep voice filled the space. 10 years, and the 5 major guilds hold more wealth and power than most corporations. Jinho stayed quiet, his hands clenched in his lap as his father continued. "We will form our own guild. Jinsung will lead as vice guild master under an S-rank hunter." No mention of Jinho. Not even as a consideration. The unspoken truth pressed down on him. His father saw him as too soft, too weak. And perhaps Jinho feared his father might be right. That night, after completing his daily quest, Jinwoo tried pushing past the limits like before, hoping to gain something special. Instead, he ended up with a useless bingo card. Frustration simmered beneath his calm exterior. At level 26, he still wasn't where he wanted to be. As he wandered the city streets, he considered hunting the giant centipedes from the penalty zone. But no, too risky, and the rewards were uncertain. Then the notification appeared. "Urgent request, D-rank dungeon raid." He almost declined. Being with a group slowed him down. But something in him whispered, "Better than nothing." In a Kumdo dojo filled with the sound of wooden swords clashing, Song Chi-yul moved with steady precision. His students' eyes followed his every step. Then his phone buzzed. An urgent raid. "Master." "Maybe you should rest," a student said cautiously. Chi-yul gave a faint smile. "I've lost an arm, but I haven't lost my will. As long as I can hold a weapon, I'll fight for the people who can't." In a small home, Kim Sang-shik watched his young daughter Eunji hug her teddy bear. The notification for the raid lit up his phone. His wife's face tightened with worry. "You promised after the double dungeon." "We need the money," he interrupted softly, his voice almost breaking. "Yoonji's starting kindergarten. Yoonha's going to middle school. I can't quit now. Yoonji looked up at him with innocent eyes. Daddy, are you strong? He forced a smile. You bet I am. At the Hunters Guild headquarters, Baek Yoon-ho sat across from Choi Jong-in. Their talk drifted from petty frustrations to something far heavier, Jeju Island. Choi's composed mask slipped as he spoke of reclaiming it, of the lives lost, of the comrades who never returned. Baek's thoughts went to Unsauk, and the weight of those memories stayed with him long after he left the office. The next morning, Jinwoo prepared to leave. His sister, Sungjina, stood by the door. You've been working a lot lately, but you're not even bringing gear? I'll be fine, he said with a small smile, stepping past her before she could argue further. Song Cheol walked toward the gate, lost in thought. Years of training as a swordsman, yet awakening as a mage had rendered it useless. Still, he believed there was a reason. When he saw Jinwoo up ahead, his eyes widened. The boy he remembered, frail, limping, now stood tall, his leg fully healed. At the gate, the world seemed to slow for Jinwoo. Kang Jong-ho, Kim Sang-shik, Song Chi-yul, Lee Ju-hee. The survivors of Kartanon Temple stood before him. Kim and Jong-ho avoided his gaze, their guilt heavy in the silence between them. But Ju-hee, she smiled, a genuine, relieved smile, as if just seeing him again made her lighter inside. Their reunion didn't last long. The rest of the strike team arrived, 3 C-rank hunters, shackled and silent, their eyes cold. Substitute hunters, Kang Tae-shik's voice was calm but carried authority. A B rank from the association, he was here to keep them in line. Urgency had forced the association's hand. Dangerous men were now their allies, at least for this raid. Jinwoo stood still, watching them, the air thick with tension. The game was changing again, and he would have to adapt.